Hello everybody, my name's Ben Robbins from the Lost World of Movie Props. I'm here with Tim Plester. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
How's your day been so far? I know it's early, but...
It's still early, but I've got a nice cup of tea, so that's keeping me going at the moment.
And we've got no more rain at the minute. It's
no, it rained all night, didn't it? Yeah, the rain kept me awake last night, but and I left London this morning. It was still pretty wet, but it kind of stopped as we got towards Sussex. So, Sussex sunshine.
Yeah, I'm just down in Horsham, West Sussex, and it was torrential. I was going up towards Gatwick, it's getting worse. I picked up detail on the way, and then we hit a bit of this way, and it just stopped. It was gone.
Good, there you go. Sussex saved us. Yeah.
Awesome. So I just want to ask you a few questions about your career in TV and film.
Yeah.
But one of the films that I saw when I was going through it, because I used to DJ back in the day. I used to do loads of nightclubs and stuff. You were in It Was All Gone Peak Tong. Is that correct?
I was in It's All Gone Peak Tong. Yeah.
One of my favourite films, because not just the soundtrack and that, and just how they showed deaf DJ and a bit of mixing and that. So, what was it like getting the call for that and the audition, and what was your role in It's All Gone Peak Tong?
Well, it's way back in the kind of mists of time for me. That one now. That was it's one of the first things I did. I think.
Yeah.
If I'd have to look back at my list of credits to see exactly where it fits, but it feels like very early days in my acting career. I remember going in for the casting for it. I originally got seen for the lead
Oh, really?
part. I remember
Awesome.
going in for that. But I remember while I was there, Peter Kay, Paul Kay, in fact, Paul Kay, came into the room to audition for it, and Paul Kay obviously got the role. But I remember seeing him coming in and knowing him from when he did Dennis Pennis back in the day, and thinking, oh God, if he's up for it, there's no chance of getting this. No chance, which proved to be the case. So yeah, Paul Kay was casting that, but I think the director liked me enough to find something else for me to do in it. So I can't remember my character's name, but there's a kind of a number of vox pops throughout the film with various people. Basically, what I remember about that being improvised. Yeah. There wasn't a script to that. The director would ask you questions. I just went in for one morning to do it, and he was just looking for you to improvise amusing answers based on his questions. Really, I think it's called Brent Tufford, I think his name is. But I hadn't been acting for very long at that time, and I remember that being quite thrilling to be trusted with, just a director thinking that you were funny enough to just improvise on camera like that.
Wonderful.
But yeah, that's my memory. It's a very, I didn't actually meet any of the other cast on that. It was just literally, it was a club in Shoreditch. I remember we did it.
Nice.
It's all coming back to me now. Yeah, it was a Canadian director. I remember, these are the things I remember about it. I guess part of me was thinking that I would maybe get a chance to work with him again, but so far I haven't, but you never know in this game.
Yeah, had you heard of the story of the deaf DJ coming back, obviously from nowhere, and have you ever listened to his actual mixtape if he's done when he was deaf?
No, I don't think I was aware that it was based on a true story at all.
No, I wasn't either until I saw the film, and I had to go back and look at it all.
No, I don't remember knowing anything, really knowing that much about the story at all. And because I wasn't involved in kind of the scripted part of it, I never even saw the script. Yeah. It was just a kind of case of trying to be amusing with things that you thought might be funny to say about a DJ who was deaf. That's the beauty of the concept is, it's like what's the most ridiculous, almost on one level, although I know it's based on a true story, what's the most ridiculous thing you could think of?
Yeah.
Somebody whose job is to listen to something for a living who actually can't hear it. There's something powerful about that, but also it's something inherently funny about it as well. And I think that's probably the success of the film, is that it is a comedy, but there's a kind of heart, there's a warm heart to it as well, which hopefully comes across.
I mean, they really demonstrated well how to. I mean, when I was watching it below my DJ mate, because we set up a big sound system, we had a 10,000 watt system because we wanted to hear the music on here, and then they demonstrated how to mix two tunes on there, and we were just like, oh, someone's done it, they've shown the world how to do it, sort of thing. So,
right.
I mean, did you have an understanding of music and DJing going into that, or was that realm all quite new for you seeing that?
It's not really my my interest in music really kind of that kind of. I feel I was maybe I'm a little bit too old to have just got into the kind of the club scene.
Yeah.
Felt like I was that I kind of missed that. I was kind of around for the rave scene, but I was always more into kind of guitar bands. I guess was my thing. Indie bands. I would kind of hit my peak, kind of Blur versus Oasis.
Nice, awesome.
That was my thing.
Did you get Oasis tickets?
No interest in Oasis tickets.
No, I did have a gamble, but I didn't get through at all. So
I was always a Blur man.
You're a Blur man, yeah.
I went to see Pulp last year.
Oh really?
Which was nice and nostalgic. So yeah, I was more of a Blur, Pulp, Supergrass fan. I always found Oasis a bit derivative. Sorry, boys.
So obviously you're talking about music there. So another film that you got to be part of was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
So obviously that's more. It was going away from like the techno music, all that side, but going into like real live documentary film of Queen. Yeah. So what was it like seeing that come up and getting the audition and knowing the style of music you were going to be involved in, especially Queen, such a legendary British band?
Yeah, I mean I remember that being quite a weird experience for me because I still to this day don't quite know how I got that part.
Nice.
I got a phone call. I was doing another job, and I can remember where I was. I was in Nottingham, doing something else, and I got a phone call from my agent just to say, would you like to come and be in this? They're doing this Queen biopic. There's a part they want you to do, which is the producer. It was R.T. Baker. His name is a famous producer at the time, who I didn't know anything about him. But I didn't even have to audition for that one. That was like a straight audition. And I still don't know. That's not normally what it's like in my experience. You normally audition and you normally don't get it. Yeah. So to actually get something which you didn't even audition for was great. And I don't know if the director had seen me in something or the casting director had seen. I honestly don't know. But anyway, I don't think it was because I had some uncanny resemblance to the real guy either, so it wasn't even that. So yeah, that was again. I was never really a massive Queen fan. I mean, it's interesting. We're here at a Comic Con. I can probably say my favourite Queen album is the Flash Gordon soundtrack album. That was really the only time I ever bought anything by Queen. And I loved that film, and I loved that music in that film. But yeah, I was lucky in that I got to my main scene in it is the recording of Bohemian Rhapsody itself, the song itself.
Yeah, the main song.
The main song. So that was a fun thing to be a part of for sure. And Brian May was there. He came along, I think, just to check that it was being done correctly. So I got to talk to Brian during that day, which was lovely. He was talking a lot about stereoscopic photography. That's one of his passions. And what I know for a fact is that Gwilym Lee, who played him in the film, he had taken guitar lessons from Brian prior to them filming the film. Gwilym was a guitarist anyway, but he wanted to, make it look as much as possible at how would Brian play this song. So, that they were going to that kind of level of detail on that film. And I'll tell you something else that's interesting about that film, which I think was a gamble which totally paid off. It's the first stuff they shot, because I can remember going to have a wig fitting in the first week of filming, and so I didn't make it onto the set, but it was this old abandoned airfield base where they had built kind of a corner of Wembley Stadium, and that's where they were filming the whole Wembley Stadium sequence. So they started with the end of the film. They start with them being Queen, playing the biggest gig of their lives. And I think the genius of that, and it may just purely have been to do with the scheduling not in their hands, but I like to think that whoever did that schedule said, look, why don't we start with this? Because if they get this right, the rest of it is going to be an absolute breeze. Yeah. Because they are going to be a band straight away. They're going to have to kind of do Wembley Stadium. If they can do that, everything else will be easy.
I mean, they're kind of in that scene, you've got to go full character, you've got to sell it, not just to a TV audience, but because obviously you can compare the actual live video to their video, and it's literally, you can put them side by side, and it's fantastic to watch.
I know.
So when you're in the studio watching them do the Bohemian Rhapsody song, did it make you feel like you were actually back in the past, seeing like Queen a little bit, or were you quite aware that this is still a film set?
I think, I mean, you're always aware that it's a film set, I think, because you're always trying to remember what your lines are. But, you know, things like that can be really immersive. You know, we were really it was a farm. It wasn't the actual studio where they recorded it, but it was a pretty good replica of it. You know, the mixing desk was all vintage, all the tape spools, all, you know, there's a lot of vintage equipment in there. Everyone's dressed in, you know, in their vintage gear. You know, there was no green screen or anything. It really did feel like you were in a space where this could have happened.
Awesome,
for sure. So I think it always helps as an actor if I've not done a lot of stuff with green screen, but it's hard, that stuff, when stuff isn't there. I know you can always say, well, just act. You're an actor, just pretend that something's going to be there. But the more practical stuff for me that there is, the better. And to be honest, I always prefer working kind of on an actual, you know, in an actual location rather than in a studio. Because, you know, if you look one way, you can see that that's not a real wall there. Yeah. So I don't know. I think I always like it if you're in a real place. Yeah, helps.
So obviously with Games of Thrones, was that more being in a real place, real fields, and not so much sets? Like, how was that? Because filming Bohemian Rhapsody is such a big production size. Then going to Games of Thrones, was the production size just as big, or was there noticeable differences?
Game of Thrones was a massive operation. Yeah. It's probably, I'm trying to think, I think it's the only job I've ever done where you rehearse the day before.
Oh, cool.
You come in, but not just you as well. Yeah. Everybody comes in, the tech, camera, everybody comes in, and you rehearse the whole thing the day before. They've got that much time, that much money to be able to do that, so that when you actually turn up on the set to film it, you've actually had, you know what you're going to be doing. Yeah. That's not the experience of most film or TV jobs. You're lucky if you get any kind of rehearsal. So that's kind of unique in my experience doing Game of Thrones like that. So yeah, it was a real field. It was most of a real castle, but some of it was green screen. They put it in later. The scenes for the Red Wedding that we did, that was in a studio in Belfast. Yeah. But it was a massive set with massive doors at the back that did open and close. So that kind of felt like a real place. Yeah. And then there was a lot of people in there, you know, lots of supporting artists in there, tables, real food on all of those tables. So all you know, there's a lot of practical stuff going on that makes you feel like you could really be in a castle. But the bonus is it's probably not as cold as a real castle. I understand if you watch it back in the first series of Game of Thrones. The Freys are first introduced. Walder Frey, David Bradley is in that, and they filmed that in a real castle apparently. And then by the time they came to shoot with the Freys again, they decided that it was too cold and too impractical to film in an actual castle. So yeah, they built a castle in a studio, which interestingly is the studio where before it was a studio, it was where they used to paint all the massive ships. So it's down in the docks in Belfast. Awesome, and it's where it's called the Paint Hall Studios, because that's where they used to go and paint. So the Titanic was painted in that space.
It must be massive.
It's huge. Yeah, huge. And now they've turned it into studios now.
Oh, wonderful. That's insane. I'm going to have a Google and have a look at that later, definitely.
It's right by the Titanic Museum as well, which is brilliant, which had just opened actually when I did my first Game of Thrones. So I had an afternoon off after a costume fitting, so I went round the Titanic Museum, and it's brilliant. Yeah. So they're right next to each other. Yeah.
I'm a massive fan of Titanic and the whole story. Like, I've got some real relics at home from the ship. Like, so,
really?
Yeah, I've got a few.
Well, I mean,
bits.
you have to go then.
Yeah. I mean, it's on our bucket list for me and the missus to go. So.
Okay. I don't want to spoiler alert, but there's one magic bit when you're walking through, and it gets towards the kind of the iceberg moment. The temperature drops.
Nice.
In the museum. It's really clever, really subtle, but it gets colder in that room.
Nice.
It's really, really good.
Yeah, I've got an actual lump of coal about this big that was put on the ship, and it went down with the ship, and it was brought up in an expedition, 94. I managed to get through various dealers and collectors.
How?
There's a company.
Where'd you keep it?
I've got it just sitting at home, like in a little box, like all safe sort of thing. I got the big piece they brought up. I got a bit of rustical bit off that. Like, it's only a tiny little bit, but it's still a piece of the ship. So I mean, with it decaying now, eventually it will be gone one day, and I've got that little bit. So awesome little.
Cool.
bits.
Well, no, you have to go. You have to do the Titanic Museum. I don't know if you might even be able to do a tour of the studios these days. I'm not sure.
That'd be fantastic.
You can definitely do Game of Thrones tours now, which you didn't use. I mean, when I did it, the show was still on, so they didn't exist. But
Yeah, what was it like going around the Games of Thrones tour? Did it bring back lots of memories? And could you spot out things you saw when you were on set in there?
No, I mean, I haven't done the Game of Thrones tour. I'm not entirely sure where you go on it. I know one of the guys who used to be one of the tour guides on it. I don't know if you've seen. There's a great documentary which they did at the end of, what is it called? The Last Watch? It's called The Last Watch, made by a friend of mine, Jeannie Finley. And there's one of the characters that they spend time with is a supporting artist who's one of the, who does he mainly, I think he's mainly a Stark. He's got a big, lovely big beard. I think he used to do that tour for a while, him and some of his friends. Possibly even started it. So I think you just go on a coach and they just take you around Belfast and outside Belfast to various locations. But that's the trick. I mean, Game of Thrones was such a huge show and so many different worlds within the world. You know, not a lot of it is actually was filmed in Belfast. People always say that to me. They say, "Wow, it's been great on Game of Thrones. Did you get to go to Croatia? No. Did you get to go to Malta? No. Did you get to go to Iceland? No. I was in Belfast, unfortunately. Sorry, Belfast. But I did actually enjoy being in Belfast. There's a very good pub opposite the hotel.
Nice. Yeah, it's always a result, isn't it?
But not as exotic maybe as some of the other locations. But yeah.
Yeah, I got to film a wrestling show in Belfast for BBC Three.
Did you?
And this was just after COVID.
Yeah.
So they flew me out on EasyJet, and I had the whole road to myself, so I delayed across it, and then I had a car pick me up and stuff. And
into George Best Airport, was it?
Yeah, we went to that one.
Yeah.
We did the little show, and then we did the wrestling show in a nightclub, and then it finished. And they're like, "Yeah, the open bar for you lads. You can drink and do whatever you want." So all necking down the vodka and drinking with these Irish wrestlers.
Any Guinness?
There was no Guinness there. There was all these free bottles of vodka for everyone.
Right.
And then the producer tapped me on the shoulder. He goes, "Ben, I'm really sorry. Your flight's at 6 in the morning, mate." I was like, "It's like 1:30 in the morning now."
But going to bed.
I was like, "When in Ireland," sort of thing. Awesome.
I did end up after one of the nights shooting having some Guinness in the hotel bar with the drummer from Coldplay.
Oh really? No way.
He's in the Red Wedding. People do. I think this is kind of vaguely common knowledge. If you go back and watch the Red Wedding, there's a band there, some musicians, and the guy playing the bodhrán.
Oh, I'll have to go back and look at that.
He's the actual drummer from Coldplay. He was a big Game of Thrones fan, and had basically asked him, "Can I be in it?" So yeah, I ended up having a couple of drinks with him.
Oh, brilliant!
After filming one day.
I'm very jealous of that because I know they had Ed Sheeran appear in it, didn't they? But
I
think the drummer from Coldplay's cooler.
I was talking to somebody about this the other day. The problem with the Ed Sheeran cameo is like it's just suddenly Ed Sheeran's in Westeros. It's like that works because he's hidden in the scene and you'd never know, but it's like just suddenly it stops being Game of Thrones because that's clearly Ed Sheeran. He's got Ed Sheeran hair. It looks like Ed Sheeran in a costume, and it just kind of pulls you completely out of the show. The band Sigur Rós are in it as well.
Yeah, I saw that one.
But again, they're kind of hidden a bit more in the show rather than, hey, look, here's Ed Sheeran. What the hell's going on here? So I think you have to be a bit careful with that sometimes, how you do your cameos.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, like the Coldplay one, that's probably more like an Easter egg now, they'd call it, wouldn't they? So,
an Easter egg. I think an Easter egg's always
definitely
better, I would say, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today. It was only a quick little talk, man. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and sign some more big posters for people.
Yes, there's been a few of those already, so yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.